So as an entrepreneur, you need to make content. And I'm not talking about a few pieces of content. I'm talking about a boatload of content. You can't just post a LinkedIn post once a month and expect people to know you, trust you, like you, and know exactly what you offer and what you do. So we got a problem. We need to think about what does the content look like? What do I need to write? How do I need to write it? How do I need to post it? How do I need to publish it? How do I need to repurpose it? A lot of questions. Today I want to show you through this AI system that we developed on how content works, how the AI system works, how you can automate it. And I'm not talking about generic AI automations. I'm going to show you through the whole thing. So yeah, let's dive deep into it. So I got my iPad here, got it brand new. So let's show you around. This is from the last video I made. Be sure to check it out. Okay, for this video, I want to show you the whole system that we use at VLNK. That's our growth company. So through how what the point is of content. So if you want to skip that, go to the next section. I will link it in the video. To how the automations work, what you can automate, how you can automate it, and what tools to use. So this is going to be a super deep dive in how content works and how you can automate it / what you can automate, in my opinion. So let's dive deep into it. So first, I write it down already here. I set this example. So you wake up, you think, okay, I need to make some content, People like first start off, what's the whole point of content in essence? So the whole point of content is that people know who you are, know what you do, know how they can get in contact with you, know that they can trust you, that they can like you, that they know how much information is in your head. In essence, this is super important for B2B companies and companies that rely heavily on knowledge. So consultants, advisors, yeah, all like I would say all knowledge heavily companies. That's super important that you write content because your whole business is built around trust. You want to improve that trust. So let's get back into the cycle. And for all the listeners here, I'm going to explain what I write down. So first, we got the wake up. You wake up average day, you think, okay, Nick, I need to make some content. So you start. Let's gonna write it down here again. I'm gonna take you with it. So fresh page. So you wake up. You think, I need to make some content. And the first thing is then, okay, what am I gonna write about? So you need an idea. Then if you got the idea, you need to actually write the piece. So that's another thing on like how do I write a good piece of content. They need to publish it. Publish. Maybe if some of you guys even do this, analyze it. Analyze. Like that you can learn from it so you see what goes good, what goes bad. They need to keep the learnings out of it. Learnings. And then probably next day you go to sleep, you do it again. So this is for most of you guys, I call it the content hamster wheel. So this is for most of you guys, I call it this content hamster wheel. So it's a big cycle of time consuming activities. So imagine from the start point to the last point that you finally publish it. I would say most of you guys maybe spend like an hour or hour and a half for just one piece of content. And so let's translate this. So we have different kinds of content. Let's first get that out of the way. We got our short form, I would say our medium form, and our long form. And as the name tells it, short form is easier to create, if you even think it's easy. Medium form is harder, and long form it's like super deep dive, research based. It's most of the time it takes like a long period of time. So for short form, we can think of videos, those TikToks, Instagram Reels, or the LinkedIn. It's called um, LinkedIn Reels. I don't know. LinkedIn Shorts. Let's just call them Shorts. So on average, these are our LinkedIn posts as well, Twitter post, X/threads posts. So on average, these are like short pieces of content. People can consume them most of the time within a minute, let's say. So they're smaller pieces of content, 1 minute. Then we got the medium forms. These could be like longer articles, case studies, a bit more deep dive, maybe like a newsletter, I would say. Let me write it down. Newsletter, like an article. Like it's written well, true. Maybe so. What longer videos, maybe like 5 minutes on information. And then we got the long forms. These could be like workshops, like articles, blogs, case studies, I would say, methods, white papers. These are long forms. This video, for example, is like, I think it's gonna be like a longer video as normal. So this is gonna be like a long form. I'm gonna hook you for like several minutes. This is gonna be a deep dive. I'm gonna show you exactly how everything works. So these are longer videos. Longer videos. And these take a substantial and significant more time to consume and even to make. So 15 minutes for consuming more. Well, so this is the breakdown of like, I would say, short to long form content. Now, you can imagine if you got the first circle back, that for a short form, so you need to think of some ideas. Maybe you're staring at the paper thinking, okay, Nick, what do I need to read about? 10 minutes. You need to write it. And you're looking like, okay, I'm not really sure how to write the stuff. Another 20 minutes. You kind of figure out how to publish it. Then maybe there's some analysis from the last posts. You want to think, okay, now I'm looking at this analysis. What learning points can I get out of this? So maybe like a short form piece of content can already take you like 45 minutes to make for like a 1 minute piece of content. Now imagine those long forms and those medium forms. These are going to take substantially longer. So maybe like twice longer, like 90 minutes. This is going to take you like, I would say like 3 hours in total, like with editing, getting everything down, doing the research, thinking out what you want to do. So let's break it down. So you spent 45 minutes. Let's get the red color. You spent 45 minutes to get 1 minute of. So you spent 45 minutes in total to get 1 minute of someone's attention. That's a lot, honestly. And if I'm being honest, like some of you guys maybe like more into the content game, it's gonna take you a lot less. But think for yourself, how long am I spending on average building a LinkedIn post, or maybe like a short form video? I think honestly it's like between 30 minutes to like an hour for like only 1 minute, maybe even shorter if like the post isn't really thought through of someone's attention. And honestly, like, what's the ROI? Like, what do you get out of it? Yeah, and like for the bigger ones, you can think it for yourself through like 9 minutes for 5 minutes of content, and like 3 hours for maybe like 15 minutes of content. And if the content has to be like that good that people actually watch the whole thing or like read the whole thing. So these are problems. And I'm already talking about if you thought some good ideas through and you structured the whole content right and you publish it on the right time, get everything right? So I want you to get like a different view of content after this, I would say, masterclass. So most people view content like this. It's like an upside down triangle. And on the top, it's your input. And as you can see, we put in 45 minutes for 1 minute of tension. So we lost a whole lot of stuff from input to output. And I want to uh, get your. I want to have you like viewing this differently. So I want you to have the pyramid that I drew all the way around. So the top is like a normal drawn triangle, and the top is still input, and the bottom is output. But now, as you can see, we have less input and more output. So in an ideal situation, it would look like this. We put in 10 minutes and we get back 10, maybe 20 minutes of content. That would be cool, right? Now I'm going to show you how this works. So if we can have like a sneak peek of how this works, let me grab this one for a sec. Yeah. So in this model, you can see we got our NHN, that's our automation software, and I built like a simple version of it. So this is what like these workflows look like. So the first one I made it manual because it's easier for you. If you can start for NHN with yourself, it's way easier if you got like this super basic automation. Then instead I make like a big one. So when clicking execute, we put our data to our AI analyst, then to our AI Substack writer. So Substack is where my newsletter is posted. Then we put it to our AI LinkedIn generator, where our LinkedIn posts are deployed. And then it goes to Notion, creates an asset where the things are deployed. So this is how it in practical works. I'm going to take you back to the scheme first because I want you to understand the whole process well before we do anything else. So getting back. Well, let's see. So the goal is less input than output. Simple as that. First, we need to understand what content is, what it really does, and why it's so beneficial. So for content, there are a lot of benefits. I already told you about one of them. It's like people know for content. People know. Let me get this one in green. Like a big benefit is that you're just visible. Like if you do content right and you get some engagement on them, those are just like free advertisements. On Facebook, on advertisement platforms, you pay for them, but content is free. It's free visibility. That's a big one. And okay, I know free visibility doesn't say anything, so I need to make it more practical. What does it mean? Visibility, we want the goal is three things. We want someone to know us, like us, and trust us. And especially in knowledge-based companies, this is the essence of what content and deals are for. So as you might know, a lot of your deals are coming out of referrals probably. And the thing why referrals work so good is because people know you directly, or they know the person you work for, like who gave the referral. They assume, okay, I like this guy, so I might as well like the other guy. They like you. And then if someone refers you, they probably trust you. Like you got the whole method all in once. That's the beauty about referrals. But the referrals have like a downside, and that's scalability. Because referrals are not scalable at all. Like you're just waiting for an next referral. And if you want to really grow and get some more leads and eventually sales, it's not doable through referrals. You need to set up programs. I don't know if you're like, if you know how referral programs work, but it's a big thing. So we need another system. And we see a lot of value in content as a whole. Because at content, we can automate this on a large scale. So if someone sees a post, so an I sees our post for maybe um, several months, they eventually gonna like digitally know us. So especially when you upload the videos, they're gonna hear your voice, see you, see how you work. Well, if you're a nice guy and just be yourself on the internet, it's pretty easy to also get the trust in and the like factor. And eventually the trust you can build this by, let's say, case studies. So we can do this in scale because um, content, it's nothing different than just talking to people. When you're building trust in real life, you're talking to someone in real life, and they eventually gonna know you, trust you, and like you if you do everything right. Just be yourself. Tell about what you do. Just get a nice chat in. That's how you build trust. But on the digital page, we do it a little differently because we want to do it at scale, as I said. So what if we can make this framework of like referrals, getting to know people, showing people what we do, what we know, what we learned, what we did, what results our clients got. We can't just do it one on one. So talking to people or via content, we can scale it because we can do this whole part of just talking to people, but then 1,000 exit. So now we're talking to like 1,000 people at once that see our results for clients, that see our stories, they get to know us. So it's way easier because people aren't as cold anymore. Like you've talked to them, you've given them value, you show them what you can do, what you know. So yeah, that's the end goal, to show these like dozens and dozens of people what we know, what we can. So let's dive into it. So as you can see, I know I showed you the know, like, trust factor of a framework, and I've already written it down here for you. So first, let me imagine. Okay, I'll just take this one. So you first need to know who we're gonna target, because let me imagine, this is Henk, and Henk is an ICT SAP consultant, and Henk wants new clients or like more projects or whatever. So what Henk can do is he can just post content. But without a system, he just posts about his dogs, the weekend, mountain biking, the things he likes. But his ICP wouldn't be really interested in those things. ICP, what I mean, is an ideal client profile. So this is the person we want to target. I'm gonna grab a cup of water first. So I'm back and got my water in. Okay, so let's get back into it. So our ICP is the one we're trying to target. Like maybe it's the person who hired you, the decision maker in the company. It's pretty simple. The person you want to get in contact with, for what purpose whatsoever. And the thing is, with our ICP, we want to talk in his language. So let's get back to Henk, the ICT SAP consultant. You want to get in contact with an ICT manager of like a company. And the thing is, we want to talk in his language of the ICT manager. So what are their pain points? What are their goals? Have they tried something before that doesn't work? If you aren't there, what's going to happen? What are the fears of the ICT manager? And then how we can fix it. And that's the biggest part, I would say. Like how we can bridge the gap of his current state of mind to his future of, or what I would say, desired state of mind. This is the whole thing we want to showcase in our content. The gap. And how we are going to be the bridge. So let me draw it out. So there's this person standing on a cliff. And they want to get to the other side. This is where the bag of gold is. Or maybe more like a salad at this point. So how can they come from this side of the cliff all the way out to that side? How are we going to do it? That's the thing. We want to explain how. And in most of the cases, you don't want him to learn SAP or the ICT things. No, you want him to showcase you can build this bridge so that he and his organization can get to the point they want to be in. Yeah. So we made something all up. We got Peter, the ICT manager. We're now thinking about his questions, the things we want to answer. So we get back to the like, no, trust framework. And now we're going to fill out this framework. So for the like framework, we want to showcase, we're a nice guy. We're approachable. Our way of working is nice. Maybe some testimonials from some past clients, how they enjoyed working with us. And you can show them personal stories um, about your entrepreneurial past, about how you came to these conclusions, the faults you made, makes you human, makes you approachable. Then we got the no framework. You're gonna showcase what you know, that you're the perfect guy who can solve this problem. So you're gonna show articles, and these articles you can turn into posts. So maybe a SAP framework you're using, you're gonna showcase it in content. You're gonna pin the news. You're gonna be spot on the news. Like, are there changes? Are there updates coming? Are there regulations changing? You want to showcase that you know how the market works, what is changing and what's not changing. Maybe you want to showcase your best practices. That you want to showcase that you've done this before, that you know a lot more than people initially thought. And then the trust. You want to share case studies, referrals, testimonials. Yeah, I'm Hank. I'm the SAP consultant. And look at this. I've done this 8, 9, 10 times in this way. These were the results. People trust you a lot more. But that's the whole point. Okay. We're going to deep dive into some tactical strategies. Now we're going to do this and write this out. But for now, you have a bit of context about what the idea of content has to be. You have to answer and gain the trust, the likability, and that you know everything about the subject on one specific, person, your ICP. Well, I wrote this down earlier because content works in, 5 stages. We got the idea generation, the writing of the content itself, publishing, analyzing, and repurposing. These are the 5 stages of content. Now, we have talked about the idea generation phase, and let's get back into the writing phase. So, with the tactics I'm going to show you later, you're going to have some systems on how you can generate ideas specifically for your ideal client. Now you want to write the content itself. So I showcased it here. This is, for the people who are listening, this is an article. It's just drew an article out. And the structure it has. And writing is actually pretty simple if you know how it works. Because articles, LinkedIn posts, shorts, long form videos, newsletters, they all have the same structure. And you might as well say, Nick, videos are not the same as articles. And I know why you're saying that, because it's quite different how you consume it, but the structure of the content itself is the same. Because videos are literally just a script that you made first and then wrote it out. So I've written it down here. So content consists of 3 main units, I would say. Here on the top, this part, that's the hook. That's the first sentence of, like for an article or a LinkedIn post, or maybe the first 5 seconds, like as I would say here, of a video. That's where you want to hook the people that you're targeting. And we always say that the hook is maybe 80% of the whole post. And why? Because if someone doesn't read the hook, they doesn't like it, they're not engaged, they can't see the value, they wouldn't read the rest of it. Think about it for yourself. If you see a piece of content, like maybe a LinkedIn post, and the hook is something like, last week I went to dinner with my wife. That's it. you probably would scroll further because you wouldn't see any value in it. Instead of these 5 tactics show me exactly how to get from point A to B. Then you're curious, okay, what are those 5 tactics? And you're gonna read the rest of the article. Like, and why is it so important that the hook is so engaging? Well, it's pretty simple. As I said earlier, if you don't like the hook, you're not gonna read further. It doesn't matter how valuable your article is, or your post, or your video. I could have the most valuable secrets of everything down in my post, especially my credit card, um, credentials, my CVC code, everything. But if the hook is super boring, people just scroll through. They wouldn't even like read further and see what I actually wrote. So if your hook is bad, don't even bother about writing the rest of it because people won't even read it. Well, for the rest of the piece of content, what I was saying, it exists of 3 main components. The hook, you could say 1 sentence, it's a headline, the first 5 seconds of a video. Then the content itself, that's the part after the hook. So that's where you give the value, bring in the main points, and tell them, well, what's it all about? And then in the end, we have a call to action, like a CTA. And you could say, Nick, why do I need a CTA? It's pretty simple because we're all pretty selfish. Like, there's a reason you're watching this, and there's a reason that you want to start writing content. And most of the time, it's like getting more attention, more people knowing about your knowledge, your product, your services. So there is a goal of writing content. And you want to talk people through it. For example, if I make this video, on the end of the video, I'm probably going to say, hey, I got some more, watch that too. Or I've got a newsletter. Every week I write an in-depth article about B2B, AI, LinkedIn, and marketing. Sign up, go to this page. Or maybe visit my website. Or message me if you want more info. The thing is, if you don't tell people that there is a next step, they won't see the next step. So it's important to tell them what the action is. So yeah. Okay, now we know what a piece of content, the structure of it. We know how to get the ideas. Then there's the next thing. And I would say this is the big secret of copywriting, and those are frameworks. I think if you just, I don't really care what kind of framework you use, but if you use a framework, your content will already be like 10, maybe 100 times better than the content you're writing right now. And it's not like big secrets of all. Just writing on Google copywriting frameworks, you find like a ton of them. But my favorites are the PAS and the BAB. So the PAS stands for problem, agitate, solution. For example, you don't know how to create content, so you're missing a lot of money because you don't get the leads. Here, use my content video to show you how to use great content. The BAB, before after bridge. You're writing content but don't get any views, you're missing out on a lot of leads. Well, now you can use my framework. No, wait. Before is the current situation. So you don't know how to use content, so you waste a lot of leads. Imagine having a content framework and getting monthly leads. That's the after. And this is how to do it with my content system, the bridge. You see how engaging it is almost to now enjoy that content piece? This gives it way more structure. So yeah, let's keep going. So we got the idea, the writing we're down. So idea check, writing check, and we need to publish it now. Well, for publishing, it's pretty simple. We got tools. I like GoSchedule for LinkedIn and other platforms. It's quick. You can do it on LinkedIn itself. It's also fine, but don't like the LinkedIn original tools it gives. Then analyzing, also tools like Shield app. And for repurposing, we're going to talk about that later. Yeah, so now we got a quick overview of what content actually is, like why it's so beneficial, what the stage of content is, and why you probably need it and you need a system for it. Well, and I want to show you, uh, yeah, and I want to show you a few more things because the interesting part about content is not how you write content, how you think of ideas. Of course, it's interesting. We need to get like a quick understanding of what it actually is. I got some more trainings, more in-depth trainings. I'm gonna post in this channel as well, so that's interesting. But while you're probably looking this video, watching this video, it's more over like, Nick, okay, I get it. I need content and I need it fast. I need more of it. I need more quality of it. But how? And what can I automate? And what can AI do for me without it sounding like super generic AI? And these are the more tactical things I would say that we're gonna dive in now. So yeah, let's get into it. I think this is the most important one. So let's get back. So for the first part, we're going back to our idea generation. Idea generation. So now you know how idea generation works and why we need to do it. We can look to the process as a more like a process guide, and on those ways spot on what to automate and what not to automate. I think that's an important one. So yeah, let's grab this idea generation button I made and step it down. So first we need to define who our ISP is. Define our ISP. And that's the first thing we can actually automate if we do it right. Because when I talk to companies and I do a workshop, this is most of the time the hardest part where companies struggle in. So we made a custom AI for it. So I'm going to take you to it. Watch this. So for example, we have this audience deep scan. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of one of our systems. Well, it's the audience deep scan. So let's click on start. The whole goal is to automate this research like things that take a lot of time. So we programmed this custom AI to on our own data and basis and questions and knowledge bases to do like a full-on audience research. So it's gonna ask us some questions like, what do you think your target audience is? What do you deliver? Well, I already got that ready, so let me fill it in. So I'm gonna say consultancy firms, and I help with AI, LinkedIn, lead generation, pipeline fulfillment, yeah, those kind of things. And I was actually looking through the web, thinking. So let me see. Do it in Dutch, in English. It's gonna answer in Dutch because I think I got my own. Only answer in English. I got my prompt selected in Dutch. That's why. So now it's thinking. It's gonna read the prompt I gave in and does some searching on the web as well to find real data points. Okay, so it's saying the user wants to report in English, so let's wait for this one. I also think this is the beauty of AI because it just like it says, fall for 6 minutes and 53 seconds. Just made myself a new coffee. So let's see what it came up with. So just to showcase like one use case of AI. So we're only talking about audience deep scan, and how we can visualize our audience and get them know better without hiring like super expensive consultants or whatnot. So yeah, let's get into it. Target audience description: owner, partners, and senior leaders of small to mid-sized consultancy firms in software implementation and software consultancy. Okay, they sell expertise, reliability, and long-term client relationships. Their business model depends on billable hours, predictable retainers, and reputation. Their teams are smart but overloaded. A mix of consultants, support engineers, project managers living in ticket systems, email, Slack, Teams, and a patchwork of SaaS tools. core pain points. So I gave it like this small prompt of what I would say like a small uh, vision of context about what it can do. Like what did I say? Let's see. I said it's a consultancy firm, 5 to 35 people, software implementations, consultancy. They offer first and second line of help. Uh, they want custom AIs for them to fill their pipeline on automatic pilot. Our offer is building AI workflows, giving them back hours in the billable week, automate and improve their service. And their biggest frustration is they see AI everywhere, but they don't know how to start. They have not enough knowledge about it. They see the possibilities, but don't know where to start. So that's basically what we do. So our core pain points: AI is everywhere, but they don't know where to start. They feel intense pressure to have an AI story without a spare headspace to design one. They see posts, tools, and success stories daily, but can't translate that noise into one clear, low-risk next step. You're not alone. Many local business owners feel overwhelmed by AI technology, worried about costs, and unsure where to start. I get it, you're exhausted by the AI hype. Feeling both excited and overwhelmed by AI isn't a flaw, it's a sign that you're paying attention. No time or capacity to explore AI properly, overwhelmed by tools, options, hypes, fear of wasted projects and strategic misfires, responsibility to lead clients with no clear internal playbook, rising cost pressure and pipeline anxiety. Then we have our deeper psychographic analysis, our identity. They see themselves as trusted problem solvers, not AI tinkerers. Their self-worth is tied to being the expert who can untangle complex systems and keep clients stable. They're proud of being hands-on. Founders still jump into tickets or projects when things escalate. They value craft, clean implementation, stable support, and honest advice over hype. So as you can see, it gave me a big report about our ideal client. The identity, emotional landscape, beliefs about AI and work, cognitive dissonance, relationships to time, resistance factors, another shiny object we don't have time for, fear of breaking critical workflows, uh, team resistance, skills gap, perception that AI is for the bigger firms, buying trigger, capacity crisis, revenue pressure, flat pipelines, client or vendor asking explicitly about AI, founder burnout, evidence of competitors automating and using AI, or maybe like a clear low risk use case so they can try. So as you can see, so much information for me and my partner to get into these types of people, get better conversations, make better content. We need to understand them better, communication approach. It tells me about the positioning, of our positioning towards them, the tone we should use, the message angles that will land. And then this is the I think it's um, the interesting part about what AI can do in this current state, especially with like the 5.1 model and the thinking model of ChatGPT, and that's the quote. So it's searched to Instagram, LinkedIn, blogs, website about what people are saying right now about this problem. So we have real life data. So, for example, it says source M4 worldwide why 91% of small business using AI see revenue growth and how yours can too. You're not alone. Many local business owners feel overwhelmed by AI technology, worried about cost, and unsure where to start. Now, then it gave me what date it was, the emotions that were tied to this specific quote. Now I have 25 quotes of people of my audience and my ICP talking about the thing I'm trying to sell. Are you getting like how valuable this could be? And this is all in what was to say? 7 minutes of like my whole time. This kind of report is like unbelievable strong. This is all these things we can all use in our content strategy, getting information in. So if we go on, for example, I'm doing make it a bit more practical now. to see the value of these systems is about, okay, I'm now going to ask the AI, I want to make content about this problem specific to this audience. How, or like what, give me a list of ideas. Give me a list of ideas for the content and what to write about. Well, normally in a workflow, we create different agents. So this one is super specialized in audience research. We gave it the data for it and the instructions and the backend. So for most of the time, we have different agents. But yeah, we can also try this. But if we automate the things in NHN or automation software, we bundle these AI agents back to back. For example, now I want to let you see the front end, so what it looks like. But if we automate it, we don't see anything like this. We just give it the instruction automatically, and then it automatically passes the info back to another agent. So the output will be way more specific and professional and with way more expertise about a certain um, concept or like skill someone needs. So this is, for example, the audience deep scan. We have different agents like idea generation agents specifically for YouTube and LinkedIn, idea generation agents for newsletters that is write the concept and the outlines and best practices. And we got the real copywriters. So we specialize those agents in we call them copywriters, like copyright agents for specific platforms. So we give them the data. Wait, let me visualize this for you. So in NHN, we do it a little different than how I showed you right this. So I can write it out. So we get them the input. This is this. The input could be, for example, a question we got from a client. So a question from a client. And I think, hey, this is an interesting point of view. We haven't heard this earlier. Or maybe we got in contact with a new kind of client that we didn't even know needed our service. So we do this whole thing automatically. So we made those agents, as I showed you in one of the examples from the workflows. And one of these agents could be, as this one, audience researcher. It does the prompt, got the context, the prompt, and the knowledge that it needs to do like a full specific audience research like this one. And automatically gives the output that it gets to another agent. And this could be, like, for example, an idea agent, specialize in generating and researching the current ideas. So what this one does is it will check sites like YouTube, Reddit, LinkedIn. It will check these sites and does like a full analysis on the questions that this audience has. So it will output based on the real world examples of the questions that are currently in the market, a list of, let's say, 120 ideas about the content, our service, of the service of our clients, of possible ideas. Well, in a lot of these workflows that we make for clients, they want like a human in the loop. So then this whole process doesn't just automate and like maybe halfway through the data gets hallucinated. So we put like a human in the loop action. And what does it mean? In essence, it means like the idea agent spits out the output and we give it the action to email, or like this, to email us the output of this one and this one. So we get an email pop up, bling, and it says, "Hey dear Nick in this essence. We got an order, for example, from Boy for making a new audience research, idea generation research, and content for this specific audience. So we get like a report for the audience and the corresponding ideas for the possible content we're making. And that's interesting because we can just look through that email and thinking, okay, I don't like this part, or I do like this part, and we'll just send it an email back. So we send the AI agent or the workflow. I'll just visualize it for now. In the next videos, I will just show you the whole system. But we just send it back to the AI agent with the feedback we got. And depending on what feedback it got, it will redo this part, so the idea generating part, or it will redo the whole part, so the audience research and the idea generating part. But if the idea generating part and the report is good enough, we just say, okay, go on. So we send it back, go on, and then it goes on. And for us, we like YouTube, LinkedIn, and blogs. For me, it's more like newsletters. I like newsletters, getting in direct contact with my audience. And then it goes to a different AI bot. Let me get this one in. So the next agent, and that's our Ghostwriter. And the reason I say Ghostwriter is because we don't want it to get generic as soon as possible as it launches. So this is our Ghostwriter agent. And what it does, to visually explain it, it has like three parameters. It has like the AI model. This is for all the agents, by the way. But I think for the Ghostwriter agent, it's more important to explain this concept, because on the last for the last agents, it doesn't really make any sense to do it. But for the Ghostwriter agent, it's super important because it's more about our business and what we offer and what we already have done. And for the last two agents, it doesn't make that much difference. It's more about the audience itself. So we like it that way. So for a Ghostwriter agent, for example, we got three parameters. It's like AI model. Which one do we want? And we can choose between different models, obviously. So the most known ones are OpenAI. You know, there's ChatGPT. But even ChatGPT has different models. As you know, it updates regularly. So we had ChatGPT 3, 3.5, 4, 4.1, 4.0, 04, 03, 5, and now we have 5.1, 5.1 thinking, 5.1 mini, nano, and now 5.5 is releasing. That's only for ChatGPT and OpenAI. But we go deeper because we have different models that are like specifically good at different things. Because the nano model is cheaper, but also simpler. It doesn't really think. And like the OpenAI 5.1 thinking or the pro versions, they are way more expensive and like output data, but they're way better in getting the context right. Well, between companies, there's also different models. So we have OpenAI, but we also have Anthropic. And you might know it as Claude. And why I tell you there's different models is because models and companies focus on different aspects of what models do. So OpenAI, I would say, is a more all-round tool. Everybody likes it. It's super accessible. It's nice, not expensive. It can do all kinds of things. Well, Anthropic is more focused on thinking and deeper thinking and writing more extensively and more content, writing more human. And that's the key thing because Claude writes more human. It's nicer to use Claude in this Ghostwriter agent than to, for example, do this for our idea generation agent. So Claude is better at thinking and writing in human style. So I would say we connect Claude to this agent. Like for the image we got also a Perplexity. That's more fact-based. So it searches different platforms for the right information. That's, for example, nice for the idea generation agent, or if you want a super fact-checked with a lot of sources, a newsletter or something. You get DeepSeek, Gemini 3. It's a super powerful model. Gemini 3 Pro. I use this one more often now than ChatGPT. But as you can see, we can make different models with different purposes. Well, on the second hand, we have a database. And now this is interesting because the database can also remember our past automations we fired at this one. So for example, if you write maybe like 5 articles out of this one, it remembers in the database what we already built. So it maybe can reference past blogs or past posts, or that it doesn't repeat itself after all. And that's what's nice about a database. So, and as the third parameter, we can connect it to another model. Connect models. For example, if you want OpenAI connected to Perplexity. That's nice. Let me get a bit of coffee. Well, as you can see, we now got our Ghostwriter agent. And an agent, as we talked about, exists of its model, database, and connected model. And it got different prompts. So we got a system prompt. That's, for example, if you make a custom GPT, that's a system prompt. And it makes a user prompt. Well, these are the ones we use. I think these are the most efficient to use. We can go way deeper, but these are the minimums. And the user prompt is what you type in this part. So that's what you type in here. That's the user prompt. Yeah, so now you understand. And this whole concept defines all of these agents. So, well, now we got a Ghostwriter agent, and if we want to specify it even more, I would say we ran different agents parallel. So we got Ghostwriter for our newsletter. So specialized in newsletters. Ghostwriter LinkedIn, specializes in LinkedIn content. Maybe Ghostwriter for YouTube. And as you can see, now we have like 3 or 4 or 5 different agents connected to each other. And all this input we can draw back to a Notion file. We could draw back to maybe, I don't know in what platform you work, but for example, a Notion file or a Google Drive. So as you can see, the automations, and I think this is the impressive thing, or the next generation of AI, is that with simple input, as we were talking about earlier, here, with only here we are talking about 45 minutes about an idea, and now we can automate this whole process. So you put in 10 minutes, just your audience, for example, or if you got one audience for sure, we could just skip the audience research one, and we put this data into all these agents like this. Then we only have the idea generator and the ghostwriters. We can go even further. If you want only the ghostwriters, that's fine as well. We could just make an input field. For example, email. We got 3 ghostwriter agents. And when we fire the system, it automatically generates these things. And it delivers us an email with the content. So now we skip this whole thing. So for idea, now we have maybe 10 minutes. You know, we got out a conversation with a client of us. Awesome conversation. Okay, I need something content about this. Send an email to the system. System makes from one input 10 minutes. Gives you a YouTube script, newsletter, and maybe 3 LinkedIn posts. And I think if you can visualize this content, you can see how much more output you could get. And ook more human-like. So yeah. And this is just the start of what AI automation can do. I would also say for LinkedIn content, we can make it visualize even further. So we make LinkedIn posts and we say the ghostwriter needs to make 5 posts. So the input goes to the LinkedIn ghostwriter. And we put in the sub queue that it makes written post. And written posts go into 5 directions, maybe like a story, a list, or like a contrary. And it makes a carousel. So it gives me 5 slides of text. Then I can put into a carousel for myself. And it produces these concepts. Well, as you can see, we now got this whole system set up with all the agents, and you now know how to use and facilitate content for yourself. We can go even further because these are basic tools like NHN and just the custom GPTs. It's like it's nothing new, but it's just because we automated it, we save a lot of time. We can also integrate external tools in this one. And one of the tools I want to show you is Bloblato. Bloblato, yeah. And what Bloblato does, if we integrate this within this system, we could give it templates, visual templates. And now we can also, instead of just getting text from the system, make direct slides. So I think if you ever made a carousel, there's just like a template you use. We can connect this. So we say we got 5 slides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for every slide, we got text output. Well, Blablato is, for example, is a tool that can turn text. It just puts the text that you give it into a template. So if we got the text, put it into Blablato for template, we have a real image carousel made out of images. So image 1, image 2, go on. So now from only 5 minutes of work, we made a whole newsletter. We made 3, 4, 5 LinkedIn posts. We made a whole working visual carousel. And go on. There, right? Because we could also, with the use of Gemini, example, the nano banana, oh, yeah, it's a long video for now. The Nano Banana Pro, that's the image generating model of Google at the moment from Gemini 3, just released last week. We can connect these things. So we got our input, goes to LinkedIn Ghostwriter, goes to the sub queue. That's a different AI that makes the written ones, the carousels, just like a divider, for example. Our, what did we say? YouTube script. And our newsletter. Well, for example, we could think of, okay, now we got the YouTube script. We could also make a sub queue here. That's a separate AI automation, for example. And we say, okay, optimize the SEO output for my YouTube video. So that the description, the title is optimized already. You could just put it in. Then we got the script, the SEO output for like the keywords for the title and the description. But we could also, what I told you about, the Nano Banana Pro version of Google, the Gemini Free, we can make an image generating model. And we could tell them, we can feed it the output. So the YouTube script we made, the title, and then give them a specific type of prompt of some requirements we want for YouTube templates of thumbnails, and we could output a thumbnail. For example, and I want to show you this. This one, I think the template of the thumbnail you saw for this video, totally AI generated. I didn't do work for it. So let me grab one. So I gave the AI some clear instructions and it created this. As you can see, I'm not a professional graphical designer, but this one is super useful. It's a picture of me. As you can see, the Nano Banana Pro version is super valuable. It says consultants workshop, LinkedIn profile plus strategy, and got like this, clickable thumbnail of what you're gonna get. Perfect profile positioning strategy map. All automatically made with like NHN automations. So now we got the script, the thumbnail, the title, description. The only thing we have to do now is record a video. And we can do this for everything. Like I'm now showing you what the possibilities are with these automations and these agents we're using. So our output keeps growing. So we started with this. Gonna do it like this. Input. It's a triangle upside down, more like a funnel with a big top side. Got 45 minutes in of work for making one LinkedIn post. And now we got this normal triangle. So we got 10, maybe like 5 minutes of input. Goes into the machine, the engine, and we get a lot of output. We got 5 posts. We got, let me see, newsletter. We got the carousel. We got YouTube video. Well, technically it's a script plus thumbnail. And let's go on. We can even go further. So as you might know, Google also released its video model, VO3. And with this model, we can also turn these, what's it called? This concept into like practical videos. But I think that's for another video. This one is taking long enough. But what I want to show you is like the possibilities, and this is only for AI creation, like content creation. And of course, I don't get it. Like, yeah, Nick, I know how the system works, what the possibilities are. We not want to post endlessly like AI content. And that's not the whole purpose of it. It's just like with one of these systems, we implement it one time and you can use it forever. Like the AI costs of it are so low if you can use these models so efficiently. But the thing is that you don't need to think about a concept or something you want to post or have like this writer block looking at this empty screen for like 40 minutes just to get one post out. Imagine like what a system like this can do for your billable hours. So as I said in the beginning of the video, you want to post content, you don't know where to start, don't know the ideas, the content to write, purposing it. That's why these things are for. We almost make like 80% of your content, and of course you have to rewrite the last part for yourself. Some parts you don't like, some parts you like. Just use the parts you like. Like on a weekly basis. Normally you would work every morning on like AI content creation. And with this system, you get on demand ideas, templates, posts, newsletters, YouTube video scripts, whenever you want. So especially when we combine like a system like this with something like a scheduling tool, and that's not even AI. It's super basic. Like there are a lot of these tools like Buffer. I'm not gatekeeping anything. It's super simple actually. Go schedule. You're just gonna sit down for maybe 2 hours, get 20, 30 posts out, maybe some carousels made, even make a YouTube video, and just schedule them for the whole month. It's that simple. So, what do we save? Like, that's the big question. Like, why do I need this? I'm not saying you need anything. I said it's just gonna save you a lot of time. So, if you're now struggling with making content, and what I showed you for an example, like 45 minutes every morning for only one LinkedIn post. Well, if there are 30 days, or maybe let's get 20 days, because we're not going to work on the weekends, 20 days times 45 minutes is 900 minutes divided by 60, 15 hours. And I'm not exaggerating, it's like the minimum. I'm curious if you guys, how many time you spend on like creating content. I'm expecting it's way more if you're like serious with content and want to get some real visibility and content in. So 15 hours, and I expect like your hourly rate is about maybe 90 till 100 euros, like between this. See what we can save, and it's like every month. That's the beauty of it. So that's for the easiness. That's like just for billable hours. That's already like 1,500 euros. That's saving. Now, that's what cost saving is on billable hours. Now, expect what you will earn for like getting more project, getting a higher hourly rate, getting more clients, because the content's also gonna bring in revenue. I don't know what it is, but see how this system just earns itself back over time and over time. And we've only been talking about the basics of content, like just LinkedIn posts, newsletters, and maybe some YouTube videos. But the beauty is, if you got the basis right, you're gonna convert those people. So maybe get a newsletter signups, sell to them over time, or post some lead magnets, or I don't know. Like, it's a beautiful way to get more leads in. A newsletter, eventually you can just, from your newsletter, give them your lead magnets, get in contact with them, earn some trust. They get to know you, what you can do, what kind of value you bring. So it's a super small part of the whole process. But imagine what only a system like this can do. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. So yeah, I would say I'll make another deep dive in how we actually build these automations. That's also a nice one. But before you do it, yeah, you need to understand what the system is and what we're trying to automate and what we're trying to do and how does the automation even works. Because a lot of people, they don't see the added value of like automations. Yeah, I want to give you like a in-depth position of how you can integrate AI and automations within your content strategy. So yeah, the next video we're going to talk about how we actually make and program these automations, how we're going to optimize those AI agents, and how we're going to get our positioning in, our strategy in, and more also about the actual the lead magnets and the converting of it, and how it depends on every platform, how we use it differently. But yeah, thanks for watching. Just make sure to check out my other videos, check out our website, and yeah, what I was saying, everything is free downloadable beneath. And I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.